Hey friend, welcome to the Halfway to Dead podcast. I'm your host, Jen Lovell. Listen, you and I have reached that age where we are done with the bullshit. We know that midlife is our chance to flip the script and experience life on our own terms. It's time to reconnect with our higher selves and reclaim our inner peace. Are you ready with an open heart and an open mind? Awesome, you're in the right place. Hop in and ride shotgun with me on this midlife spiritual journey. Hey, everybody, Jen here. So I have tons of really cool interviews all set to come out for you guys, but I had to throw this one in there, this solo episode, because I recently had a really amazing trip and I want to tell you guys all about it. Because I think at some point in your spiritual journey, you're going to want to go to this place and experience this whole thing. Where did I go? Lilydale, New York. So before I tell you all about Lilydale, just know that I went with a group of women, about 14 of us. One of my past guests, actually, Laura Marie, put together this retreat for a group of local spiritual kind of tribe women here in our community. So I got invited and I was like, hells yeah. So we just went not that long ago and I want to share everything with you. I want to tell you all about Lilydale from my perspective. I want to tell you about the experiences I had. I want to give you some little tips I have, some takeaways if you decide to do this journey yourself. Quick disclaimer, this is not sponsorship, you guys. No one has paid me to do this. These people have no idea I'm even telling you about it. And also, I'm not an expert in Lilydale history. I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm going to tell you what I learned, and I'm going to give you my perspective. Let's get into it. What the heck is Lilydale and where is it? I'm going to tell you about the history in a minute, but I want you to visualize where I'm talking about right now. Lilydale, New York is, I used to say upstate New York, and I got corrected by a New Yorker. It is Western New York, which I didn't even know was a term or a thing, but there's a Western New York. So Lilydale is this small community all the way up on the border between the United States and Canada. It's about an hour west of Niagara Falls. And like I said, later in this show, I'm going to give you guys more logistics if you want to go. But first, I want to tell you all about it and get you excited so that you're ready to do this thing. So first of all, when you get there, it's palpable. You can feel the energy. It's got an amazing energy just embedded everywhere. It's on this beautiful lake. You can feel it coming off of the lake. You can feel it in the woods with the trees. You can feel it everywhere. It's just a really cool place. And you know that the minute you get there, if you're connected at all, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the energy there. So let me tell you the history of it because this will give you an idea of, I think, why we feel that when we're there. So the history of Lilydale is deeply intertwined with the larger spiritualist movement that emerged in the mid-19th century. And this was a time of like a lot of social, scientific, and spiritual transformations going on in the US. This is before our time, you guys, way before. So let's talk about this. The spiritualist movement began in the 1840s to 1850s, right around there, because people were increasingly interested in communicating with spirits and exploring the metaphysics. So this area, Western New York, is often called the Burned Over District. It was a hotbed for religious and social experimentation during the 19th century. As spiritualism grew in popularity, groups of spiritualists began holding what they called camp meetings back in the 1870s as an opportunity for like-minded individuals to gather, practice mediumship, share their philosophies, and engage in workshops. These were totally informal gatherings that occurred in really cool places, like along the lakes, out in the wooded area, serene environment, which is pretty standard for spiritualistic practices, right? Lilydale was officially founded in 1879 when a dude named Willard Alden, a local freethinker and believer in spiritualism, gifted this land on the shores of this beautiful lake as a sacred space for their spiritualist gatherings. Finally, they had a permanent site for a spiritualist camp to meet, and it started drawing people from all over the country. Just as a fun fact, Lilydale, the name Lilydale, was inspired by the abundance of wild water lilies that grow along the shores of this Cassadaga Lake that it's on. So listen, many permanent residents settled in Lilydale, building their homes and dedicated spaces for their practices. Some of these historic houses still stand today and are occupied by practicing mediums and healers. So they still do. I'll tell you about this little community in a minute, but many psychic mediums and practitioners come to Lilydale to live every year, usually more like from May to September, every year because this place they have this lake effect snow. She was telling me they get 26 feet of snow at least a year. So it's not really viable to stay there year round, although some people do. There are people that live there year round. But it is known for its season being from May to September, like really end of August, September 1st, it kind of shuts down. So you want to plan it for in that window. And then in the late 19th century, it was like the height of the spiritualist movement. Lilydale became the destination for not only for believers, but also for curious skeptics, writers, and intellectuals interested in exploring the metaphysical phenomena. So during the mid-20th century, spiritualism started to decline a bit. However, Lilydale persisted as a spiritualist center and maintained its traditions while also adapting to the new times. Okay, so then we hit the old late 20th and 21st centuries. Spiritualism experienced a revival as people began seeking alternative ways to understand spirituality, healing, and personal growth. Lilydale has adapted to that resurgence, and now they're offering modern workshops, healing services, events, focused on meditation, psychic development, and holistic practices. Lilydale is basically a living embodiment of spiritualism's past, present, and future. Its unique history as a small yet powerful community of spiritualists reflects humanity's enduring quest for connection with the unknown. Though the times have changed, Lilydale remains a standout destination for those curious about metaphysical exploration and spiritual healing. So it's totally a historical, significant site for mystics, practitioners, and skeptics alike. All right. Everybody likes to go there. Okay. So Lilydale, let me just kind of describe my thoughts as I got there, just because I want you to have a visualization as I'm telling my little stories here. So it's this tiny community. You roll up to the gate in your car. You pay your $15 to get in. That's it. $15 a day. I think and it's even cheaper. We'll go over logistics later if you're going to stay multiple days. But anyway, you roll up to the gate, you pay your fee, you go in, you park your car. I did not use my car again the entire time I was there. Now, I had all these experiences I'm about to tell you in 3 days. I showed up on a Wednesday evening. I left Saturday at lunchtime. So you don't need to go there for a long time. You will get so much out of it, even if you just go for a weekend or something. So I'm getting off track, you guys. All right, you're rolling up into this area. You're parked. You're going to wherever you're staying. So you just roll your suitcase right on up to the house and head on in. It's like a bed and breakfast that I stayed at. And this wonderful woman named Frances owned it. Now, Frances doesn't really practice and do readings or anything at Lilydale anymore. She just runs this little Amber Tree Inn. But I'm going to tell you, she's amazing. It was cool just to stay in her home and this bed and breakfast because we'll get more into this because listen, I met a lot of people there and we're going to have episodes with these people on. So I won't go into too many details with some of the stories because I want to save them for when I'm, talking with that person. Miss Frances. So she is a clearer. I don't know if you know what a clearer is, but she clears out bad spirits and stuff. She helps out. Literally, Catholic priests will call her to assist in exorcisms. She was one of the people that cleared, anyway, I don't want to out her, but she's done some amazing things. All right. She's been a part of teams that do some serious spiritual clearings. She's also a spiritual medium. She's very connected. She knows a lot of things. And I'll give you a brief story about her later. But she was incredibly cool. So I saved this Amber Tree Inn, put my stuff away. My group of girls is there. We're out on the floating dock. We did some cool opening ceremonies, right? A little meditation, just kind of, got to know each other. And then starting the next morning, the adventure began. So let me tell you about this neighborhood. So I'm saying it's a small neighborhood. They have their own volunteer fire department. It's on this beautiful lake. All of these homes are basically lined up next to each other. And each one has a really unique architecture. They look like little fun cottages, every single house. And one might be pink and then the next one might be blue with purple trim. I don't know. Red. Very cool. They don't have big yards there. They have beautiful small yards in the front that are usually filled with flowers. And one even had this little Keebler elf looking tree house. Anyway, but they're known for their porches. All of the homes and places have porches and people gather on these porches. So it's a really cool vibe. And when I'm saying everything's walkable, I'm talking about some people say things are walkable and they expect you to walk like a city mile to get everywhere. No, when I say walkable, you guys, I mean each little street in the neighborhood is about a city block long. That's the whole street. Okay. Easily walkable to everywhere I'm about to tell you. Okay. So now I want to talk about what the heck you go to Lilydale for. What do you do? Why is this so special? I'm here for you. I'm gonna answer these questions for you. So here's some of the main things you can do when you're in Lilydale. They have all kinds of workshops and classes, and they're different every week. So I took this class that they were offering one of the days with a woman named Penny Hayward. She's from the UK, and it was a class on spirit art and like physical mediumship. So I was interested in this because I love art, I love drawing, I love painting, I love all these things. So I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Some unexpected things happen there. All right. I thought, okay, when you think of a class, you think, oh, I'm going to go, I'm just going to listen. I'm going to take some notes. Maybe I'm going to be sketching while she's sketching. All right. So we get in there and I'm going to be honest, a lot of people ditched the class because at the beginning, it seemed like it was going to be heavily about art and drawing people's faces. And that is super intimidating. And people in the class that didn't feel like a fit what they wanted to do. So they kind of made the decision and they moved on. And you can do this in Lilydale, even with readings, anything you're doing. If you're not into whatever you're learning, doing, you're reading, just leave and move on. No one's offended, right? This is your spiritual journey. Everyone there is very on board with that. So anyway, a lot of people left. I was like, no, I'm hanging. I'm going to hang. I'm going to stay. Partially because so many people had left. I almost felt guilty leaving this woman. And then I also was like, no, I signed up for this for a reason. I'm here for a reason. I'm going to see this through. She starts to teach us. So basically, I'm not going to go deep into all of this spiritual art and all this stuff because we've got episodes coming on it now. But I want to tell you what it was about. What she does is you're channeling someone from the other side, whether it's a deceased loved one, a spirit guide, whatever, and you're drawing. Like I had these pastels. You just grab a few colors of pastels, whatever you're feeling, you don't overthink it, and you're drawing. And if you start to channel something, like she was up there doing channeling and she was drawing different objects, and this person was starting, like ears, nose, everything starting to evolve. And she's connecting. It wasn't for me. She connected with someone else in the room who totally knew who that was and connected with everything they were saying about him. So she's showing us all this. I'm thinking this is really cool. I'm loving watching it. Then she throws this out there. All right, we're going to pair up with someone in the room and you're going to do your own physical mediumship. You're going to read someone and do this whole art thing. And not going to lie, I got a little sweaty because I've never really read anyone. That's not my thing, you guys. I think I could have the ability. I'm open to it. I think we all could, but this isn't my thing. So I'm a little bit nervous. So everyone in the room pairs up. And little old Jen is like, when you're the last kid picked in PE, I'm sitting by myself. I got no one. There's an odd number in this classroom. Jen's sitting by herself. And I was like, okay, this is awkward. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get the teacher. But then, no, I can't get the teacher because she's got to peruse around the room and be helping people out. So this very nice older woman who was just at the front desk checking us in when we got to class, she says, hey, can you come over here and pair up with Jen? Sure, she can. Oh, this woman sits down with me. Wonderful woman, sits down next to me. She's never drawn a lick in her life. And she's like, oh, I've never done this before. And I was like, girl, me either. But I now have to read her. It's a complete stranger. Don't know her. She lets me know she's a psychic medium. So I'm like, for fuck's sake. I'm feeling very nervous now because I'm thinking, I have to read a psychic medium? She's going to be like, who's this lady? But I'm all in. I'm open to the experience, you guys. So I got my white piece of paper. I get out my pastels and I just close my eyes. I just do my deep breaths. I connect like when I'm trying to connect with someone just for myself at home meditatively. And I'm drawing. I have this picture still, you guys. It's sitting right here next to me as a little reminder as I tell you this story. I start drawing this woman. This woman starts coming to me. And again, I've got imposter syndrome at this point. I'm like, I don't freaking know if this person's real or not, but I'm seeing, so I just start talking to her and I'm drawing her, and I'm not drawing her photorealistically. I'm picking colors that I feel like just connect with the aura of this woman, and I'm whatever. So I'm drawing her and I'm drawing this gray bun on top of her head. And I'm saying, God, I'm getting this woman who has her hair all pulled up in a big bun on top of her head. And I'm saying all this, and she's nodding up and down. She's connecting with this. I'm like, she's like, keep going, just keep going with it. I said, okay. So I'm drawing, and I draw these big lips on her, these big, beautiful red lips. I said, oh God, she's got the most gorgeous lips. I'm so jelly. And I'm telling her, and she's nodding. Yep, keep with that. And so I start drawing like her clothes, and I'm drawing this apron on her. I'm like, I see her in this apron, but she's not cooking any muffins. This is not because she likes to bake, but I am seeing this apron on her. So I'm drawing this apron, and then I start drawing pyramids, Egyptian pyramids. And then I draw this big, like Egyptian beautiful eye. You know, the one that you see, I don't know the name of it, but you know, this big, beautiful Egyptian eye. And I'm drawing it. And throughout the reading, I keep coming back to this Egyptian eye and putting different colors over it. It's turning into a little rainbow Egyptian eye. I keep putting colors on it. And I don't know why, but she's like, stick with that. Stick with that. She's like, she's like, I know who this is. And I said, okay. I said, well, you know who it is. And she's telling me nothing. She's giving me Jack, you guys. She's just like giving me some head nods. I'm talking about this woman and I'm saying, oh, she's a trailblazer. She's ahead of her game. Ooh, I feel like she's saying to you, like she's handed the baton to you is what I'm saying. You're carrying on her work or something. I said, I don't know who this is, but she's an older woman, bun on top of her head, beautiful lips. I don't know what this Egypt thing's about. Could be because I'm planning a trip to Egypt. I don't know. So she says, tell me more about this apron? Because she's a psychic medium. She's kind of training me now. So I lucked out that I got this woman. Anyway, I said, okay, well, it's not because she likes to bake muffins. I know that for a fact. I said, I feel like she's like, I don't know if she's crafting something. I don't see any pots. I was like, I don't think it's like pottery, but she's building something with her hands. Like she's definitely crafty. She definitely knows her way around the tools. And she's like, okay. Anyway, so I get done with this whole reading and it's time for feedback because I've gotten no feedback. Just this very sweet woman nodding up and down at me here and there, giving me a little comment every once in a while. So she proceeds to tell me exactly who this woman was. And it was spot on, you guys. She told me the whole story of why she pulled her hair on top of her head. So this was an older mentor of hers when she was younger and taught her, mentored her in this spiritualism thing and went to art school. So this girl went to art school back in the day, this woman, this ancestor, because she's long gone now. But she used to get in trouble when she would do her portraits. She wanted to make the eyes very colorful and she got in trouble from her professor. In fact, there was an art show she was not allowed to show in because her professor, now remember, this is back in the day. Women were no, you don't do anything the men didn't say. So she was not allowed to show in certain art shows because they felt like her eyes were more colorful. And remember, I just told you, I kept drawing these colors on this eye. I didn't know why. And then the Egyptian part, she was half Egyptian. This woman was Egyptian and had the most beautiful, big, full lips. And this is all in my photo. And for the record, my photo kind of does look like a kindergartner drawing. This is not photorealistic, but all the elements of it came through during the reading. And I will say that this was my first reading ever, you guys, with a stranger, like at all, period, but with a strange woman. And I did it. What I'm saying is I did it. I channeled through this woman. Everything I drew and did matched up with what she said. And so it was really cool. It was amazing. And so then it got to be time for us to switch. And she's like, do you just want to do another one? And at this point, I'm whooped. Okay. I'm like, no. That's it. That's all I got. Can you do me next? She's like, okay. She's like, I can't draw though. And I was like, samesies, but go ahead. So she starts drawing and she brings through my dad. She starts drawing. She's talking about my dad, his different features, the things he would wear. All of these things came through. She gave me the picture to keep. Everything she said about my dad was spot on. She's like, he's a kind of a saver, a hoarder. He saves every little thing in case he needs it to fix something. And he's kind of telling me really now he's really proud about some school bus. Did he do something to a school bus? And for the record, my dad absolutely did. He bought an old school bus and he stripped it on the inside and kind of redid it and used it to like transport stuff back and forth to Wisconsin when he retired. Anyway, she was spot on. Everything she said about him was spot on. And she shared some messages with me and it was so incredibly cool. Does this picture look like my dad? No, you guys, it doesn't really. I mean, like the hair and some things she talked about his features were spot on. Could she draw it photorealistically? No, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point of this physical mediumship, this spiritual art. Okay. And I just want to end it with this. What I realized was if you're trying to channel through people or read other people or whatever, this drawing, even if you're just drawing abstract, whatever, as you're looking at the paper and you're drawing with all these colors, what's so cool about it is it keeps you in your right brain, right? Left brain, analytical. You're overthinking it. And there's part of the reason why I think I have trouble sometimes trying to read people or connect with the other side. I'm overthinking it on the old left brain. Head back over to the right brain where our creativity is. Boom. I was able to let that come through. I think because I was doing art. So that's something I'm going to explore more. But that's just one of the cool classes I did. And again, there's a million different classes you guys can sign up for. Okay. Astrology, you name it, you can sign up for it. Music, I don't know, whatever you're into, they'll have a class for it. Another thing big in Lilydale is getting spiritual readings by these mediums. You can book them ahead. You can book them when you're there, whatever. But you go, all you do is just walk to these adorable little cottages and you have a reading on their porch or in their little, office space in their little cottage. I scheduled 2 or 3 before I even went. And when I got there, I scheduled another one that was calling out to me. So I got readings from several people, connecting with the other side, connecting with my spirit guides. I'll just tell you that everything was spot on. I got so much out of it. I feel like during one of my readings, I was speaking with my grandma and some other ancestors and got some real serious healing, some confirmations, and different things came through that were very, very healing for me, very healing for past traumas, very healing for relationships in my life. It was cool. We'll get more into those in another episode, but I just want to tell you about that. And then I randomly signed up for this reading and it was just up on this woman's porch and someone else had gotten it and they recommended it from our group. And it's called the MARI test, M-A-R-I. That stands for Mandala Assessment Research Instrument, which is a psychological, spiritual tool used for self-discovery, emotional balance, holistic healing. This woman has her PhD. She's amazing. Her name's Shelley Takey. She's written books. She used to be a professor. Smart cookie, this one. So she does these in Lilydale. You go up on her porch. I had signed up for a time. And it's basically like Carl Jung type psychology. And then she adds in archetypes, color theory, just all kinds of cool stuff that gives you insights into your inner state and your life's journey, like where you're at exactly in your life's journey, which is kind of cool to see. So I'll just briefly tell you what I did. She's coming on. Shelley's coming on. We're going to talk all about this MARI test, and I'll talk more about mine then too. But basically, she sits you down. You spend 5 minutes on her beautiful little porch. She's got like purple velvet couches, if that tells you anything. It's a cool environment. And you just haphazardly draw a mandala. She's got a circle on the paper already. Then you just design the inside. You can go to the left, the right. You do whatever you want. Then you hand this to her. You go in this other little room at her little desk. And she has you pick out a bunch of different symbols from this deck of cards. And those are representing archetypes and developmental stages. She doesn't explain any of this at the beginning because you don't want to be overthinking this thing. You just want to pick, like she'll say, pick, I think it was 7 cards that stand out to you that give you a good feeling. All right, I picked those 7, set them aside. Okay, now picked 2 cards that feel like they represent struggle to you. So I picked a couple of those and then pick one more card that you feel it connects with a main problem in your life right now. Okay, I picked that one. They're see-through cards. So then she has you pick colors that match up under the cards. She has me take a card, match it with a color underneath it, and they're see-through. So you can try it out, see if you like that color with that image, but don't overthink it. So I matched them all up with a color. And then she brings out this big board that has all these, it's a big circle with stages of life and all this stuff. She starts grabbing my cards and setting them where they belong along this whole thing. I have no idea what I picked. I literally didn't overthink it. Just went with whatever my subconscious wanted, right? Tapped into the old intuition. So it's this whole circle thing. And then Shelley leads you through the whole chart. Each card, where it's at, what it means, where she feels like you're at in your life's journey, your struggles. I mean, okay, she interprets the whole thing and it was amazing. I recorded it. You're going to hear about it. Anyway, I just want to tell you, so you know that there's a lot of cool things available in Lilydale, not just a regular reading or classes, but these cool little assessments. It was, guys, like it was life-changing. I loved it. That was the MARI test. Now, here's things that you can do. And so you will have to pay for readings with people. It varies. We'll talk about this later. But also available to you are different things going on all day long, all included in that gate fee, that $15. Okay, so it's not overly expensive to participate in a lot of these things. Let me quickly tell you what kind of stuff they have going on. They have a place called Inspiration Stump. Inspiration Stump is a spiritual center in the woods where you receive messages, you can meditate. They have this twice a day, and there is an actual stump. And back in the day, they used to stand on the stump and do group readings for everyone and teachings. No one's really allowed to stand on the stump anymore because it's like hundreds of years old and they don't want it to fall apart. So they're kind of preserving it at this point historically, but they're right up front. The stump's up front and you're sitting in all these. If you've gone to church, you'll understand when I say there's a lot of outdoor pews. All right. So wood bench type things that we all gather around. And then different mediums, licensed mediums from Lilydale take turns. And some of them are students even. So they're just honing in their skills, but they'll get up and they'll do group readings. You don't know if you're going to get read or not. Just a spirit comes through. They start explaining it. They see who it connects with. They bring through messages. So this happens twice a day and it's called the Stump. It's this beautiful location out in the woods. Then they have a place called the Forest Temple, another beautiful spot set out in the woods. It's got a little, almost looks like a little stage altar at the front. Again, a bunch of really cute wooden pews that we all gather into, and they do group readings and teachings there too. That's available a couple times a day also. They have this fairy garden trail that you can just go for a walk on, just kind of meditate, relax, really cute. They've got this beautiful pet cemetery, not in a freaky way. It's very beautiful. You can walk through. There's all these beautiful memorials to all these animals and little stories, and it's very cool. One of my favorite places was the Healing Temple. So the Healing Temple is literally like it sounds, a little tiny looking temple church. You come before the healing service, you go in very quiet. There's no talking. There's no chit chat. You go into the healing service. There's 4 or 5 different energetic healers up front that are getting in the zone ready for you. You just load into all these chairs. And I'm saying maybe this temple fits 30 people tops. So it's not a huge temple, but you load in, they start the healing service, and row by row, person by person, you go up and you sit with one of the healers up front at the temple, and they do energetic healing. They don't call it Reiki, but it's basically Reiki. They call it just energetic healing. And so these are trained healers who've been doing it for years. And so I did go up there for some healing services, and up front you sit and you can feel the energy. You're already in this highly spiritual community, in this very spiritually energetic temple. On top of that, you've got this spiritual healer laying hands on you, healing you. And it was amazing. And I won't get into all of that right now, but you could feel the healing. You could feel the vibe. And a lot of people came out with some really great healing stories from there. In fact, one of the nights, they had a healing circle with a man named Tom Kratzley. And I didn't know what I was getting into because it said 8:15 sharp. Doors were closing behind you. Don't get there late. So I was like, all right, I got to get there. So we go in. The temple's full. We get this big old healing circle. Well, our group alone was 10, 12 people that showed up. So, but lots of other people were there. And then this Tom, who's one of these energetic master healers. So we all get in this big circle and we all drop into meditation together collectively as a group, because our intention was set not necessarily to heal ourselves, but to send out healing into the community, into the land, into the world, right? We got a lot going on. So it was to come together as a group and do this healing circle. And then during the healing circle, he kind of guided us through it a little bit. And then there was just moments of silence where we were all meditating. And some of the people, even from our group, again, these aren't my stories to share, so I'm not going to drop names or anything like that. But some of the people, even in our group, felt the energy. And many people in the group were feeling and seeing the same things, because some people would all of a sudden share, I'm seeing blah, 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 blah. And it was like these codes of numbers swirling around us. And people were all seeing different spirit guides for each one of us, sending healing into our bodies also, as we were sending healing energy out into the world. I know this sounds very woo-woo, you guys, and it is. It was very cool, but you could feel it in the room. You could feel it in the room. Okay, so we get done with this whole energy circle, this healing circle. We've sent so much beautiful healing energy out into the world. And then he says, do you want to do some group activities? And we're like, yeah, we do. So again, he has us pair up he says, turn to the person beside you. We need to pair up into twos. Again, last kid picked in PE, Jen over here. Both of the people to either side of me turn to the other person. I'm looking around this room again. Everyone's got their person. And I got nothing. I got no one. So I look across the whole circle, and there's another woman who has no one. So I look at her. I point at her. I say, let's do this. I pick up my chair, like literally. I pick up my chair and I walk across to her with my chair, smack it down. And I'm like, let's do this, girl. So again, another stranger I've never met. Everyone's paired up. And again, I'm saying this not in a way like it was a bad thing. I have a personality for this. Spirit probably knew that. And for some reason, I was like, I'm meant to connect with this woman across this circle who's also all alone. So we pair up. And he has us do this whole exercise where we're closing our eyes. I was supposed to envision a light from my heart to hers and look for this flowery area in her heart and connect with it. And she was going to do the same with me. And we were just going to exchange this beautiful connection of healing energy. So we're doing this. We open our eyes and she starts telling me what she felt when she was basically connected with my heart. And I start saying the same thing to her. And I wasn't trying to read her or anything. I was just connecting with her energy and mine. And I said, man, I said, you know what? I said, I feel like you have a beautiful giving heart, but also you're in pain. I said, are you going through it? Are you going through it right now? Because I feel like you're in a little bit of pain. I could feel it when I connected. And she says, yeah. I said, and you're also, I feel like you're a giver. Like you give so much that you don't ever, I said, do you not take care of yourself? Do you just give to others most of the time? And she was like, all the time. And I was like, yeah, I get that. I was like, me too, girl. So, and she was telling me things about me that totally connected. And then we didn't get deep into it because he started another exercise where we basically both visualized the energy coming from our heart space and connecting in the middle in this beautiful healing ball. Anyway, we did this, we did different routines like this, little exercises. And so we get all done and I go back to my spot in the circle. She goes back to hers. We kind of end the whole thing and we're leaving. And I thought, I got to go connect with this woman one more time. So I go back over. I give her a big hug. I say, thanks for sharing your heart space with me. That was amazing. She hugs me too. I said, are you here with a group? And she's like, no, I'm here by myself. She says, I lost my mom very recently. And I really felt like I wanted to come here to see if I could connect with her or if I could just find some peace. I said, oh man, I knew I felt it. I knew I felt like something was going on for you right now. So we sat and talked for a minute. I gave her some suggestions because she had just started her trip. I was ending mine. And so I gave her some tips on different people I'd have readings with and different people, places, things that I thought would help her on her journey for that long weekend because she was there by herself. So that was a really cool experience. I had never done a healing circle before. I'd never connected with a stranger's heart chakra before. Anyway, so many firsts on this trip, you guys, but very, very cool things. So if you go into this whole Lilydale thing with an open heart and an open mind, you're going to get so much out of it. Okay. So that's the healing temple, which is free. Also, it's just part of that $15 to get in. All the things I'm telling you are just included. And there are different times throughout today's. They have an auditorium where you go in and they do group readings and have spiritualist church services, speakers. In fact, one of the people in our group had the most amazing experience in the auditorium with a musician that came and she already listened to his music all the time. It's like spiritualist music, right? And she already used it in her work and stuff. So she was over the moon that she got to meet this guy. And she said that people were underneath his piano getting sound baths. He played the piano. Underneath getting sound baths, doing Reiki, meditating, like under his piano. Guys, it was just be open to anything because everybody found their little niche. Like that wouldn't have necessarily been my niche, but it was hers and she loved every minute of it. And we had people in the group that in these group readings, we had one person in particular, and I'm talking about big groups in the group reading. She was always having someone come through for her. And finally, someone that a past loved one that she had been trying to connect with for a couple of years finally came through at Lilydale. I'm just saying, I'm not sharing everyone else's experiences, not mine to share, but I just want to let you know amazing things happen for people in our group. Okay, they also have these thought exchanges 2 times a week. I was kind of too booked. I never got to it. But we're open-minded individuals, so I'll get together and share different concepts in spiritualism and just kind of have a cool thought exchange. So that happens a couple times a week. There are all kinds of events and gatherings that are scheduled, right, for the week, all included. And one of the other things we did was we did this drum circle on the beach. And have I ever drummed or done it in a circle on a beach? No, none of us really had. But you go down to this cute little beach at sunset by the lake. Everyone's got a drum. And we're talking about a big, cool, tribal, legit drum. All right. And so we got this guy and he's teaching us how to drum, different techniques, different things. He's got this in the middle of the circle, this blanket set out with all these cool, like other instruments. And so we start drumming as a group all together. We did Bible drumming together and he made it fun. It was like, this half do this half do that. Like we went around, introduced ourselves and had to do a funny movement. And then everyone had to do it after us. It was just a fun gathering. So we're drumming. We did meditative drumming at the end. We were chanting songs that were stuck in my head for days after. And it was just a really cool vibe. It was so much fun, you guys. We were like a drumming. It was just another cool experience, right? Drum circle on a beach. So there's all these scheduled events happening, right? You can schedule your own readings. You can go to the stump. You can go to the healing. You can go for your own walk. You can go meditate by the lake. You can go grab a kayak and go kayaking if you want. All these things that you can just do. You can also just sit and be. I can't tell you how many times that we would just sit on each other's porches or just wherever and meet new people and chit chat. And, I had a couple times where it was just me and Frances from this Amber Tree Inn that I stayed at. And she kind of would give me insights too. And we would talk about all kinds of cool things. And then maybe one or two other people from the group or other mediums from the community would come walking by and come sit on the porch. It's just that kind of vibe. It's so many like-minded, high vibe people that's just chill. You want to sit on the porch and talk? Cool. You want to go take a nap in your room? Go take a nap. You can literally do whatever you want. It's really cool just to even walk around. I loved it. Some of the coolest moments are just unscheduled things. So we all went down to the coffee shop. There's one little coffee shop. Listen, there's one little coffee shop in town and one little cafe. We'll talk more logistically in a minute about these things. But we went to this cafe. It was called Sacred Grounds Coffee Shop. And it has this wraparound cool porch like they always have. And you can get coffee, pastries, little sandwiches. They've got holistic energy drinks. They're selling crystals. You get the vibe. So we go on there and there's this couple that was traveling around. I don't have a lot of information on them. I wish I did because I'm kind of wishing I could reach out to them now. Maybe someone in my group does. Anyway, I just wanted you to get an image in your mind. So it's this little hippie couple who travels around. They have a non-for-profit. They do this cool stuff. And they were actually getting some, I think, dollar donation from somewhere in Lilydale to continue their work. So they were like a visiting artist. So he's sitting on the porch. Here's the visual. He is this hippie dude with the long hair, the long beard. He's playing drums. He's got the bells around his ankle. I don't know what the thing is called, but it looks like a really long bamboo stick, 6 feet long that you blow in and it makes fun music. Anyway, he's got all this going on. And his wife is also on the porch and she's got cool stuff she's selling. Little artworks, I bought a little medicine pouch from her that's got a quartz crystal in it. Anyway, so this is the vibe going on. He's playing music and they're trimming a tree right next to us and all of the branches are falling to the ground. Well, he's picked some of them up and he's made this branch leaf crown he's got on top of his head. We're all just sitting on the porch, chilling, just taking a moment, no expectations. We were just figuring out what was next in our day, most of us. It wasn't even the whole group. It was maybe 7 of us. And then there was also other women on the porch that we didn't know. And we're kind of all making this kind of big circle. And he says, hey, we're going to do something. He says, okay, we're going to go around in a circle and we're going to say what we're most thankful for in our lives right now. Okay, I'm getting nervous. Sometimes I don't like being put on the spot like that. Oh my God. I got to say what I'm thankful for. Okay. So luckily I wasn't first, but there was 2 or 3 people before me. And so here's the deal with this guy. People, if you said something where he didn't feel like you went deep enough yet, for instance, if someone, if I said, I'll just tell you what I said. So I said, I'm thankful for all these women that I'm able to share this experience with, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So felt a little generic, I guess, to him because here's what he said. And he did this to all of us. He said, more juice, more juice, more juice. He would kind of sing it, more juice, more juice. And I was like, okay. So he gets to me and I say my little thing. He's more juice, more juice. So I'm like, all right, I got to dig deeper. So I dig a little deeper and I end up saying something like, I am so happy for this experience where I'm allowed to release things that don't serve me anymore and pull in things that do, or something like that. I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I started to get a little deep with it and I kind of almost teared up a little between the music and the vibe. So he takes this crown, this little leaf crown off his head, and he throws it to me. I put the leaf crown on. He did that as he was saying more juice, more juice. So as I channeled more things, I had this little crown on my head. So I get done. I take this crown off. I hand it to the next woman. We proceed to pass this leaf crown all the way around the circle. And every woman is speaking her truths, not even kidding, speaking their truths. There are women in tears because he's more juice in it. More juice, more juice, more juice. In a fun way. He wasn't it was fun. So he was saying more juice, more juice. And then that was the sign you got to go deeper. So these women would all go deeper and say more of their truths. Again, not going to share them, not my place. But really awesome stuff. And there's women we don't know from our group, women from our group, myself included, we're crying. We're crying on the porch. We did not expect this moment, but we're going around and we're all feeling so thankful. And so, I mean, the energy was crazy. I'm getting the chills thinking about that moment right now. It was so cool. And this guy out of nowhere, and he's just playing his hippie freaking music and being himself. And his wife was so cool too. So we just had this moment on this porch, unplanned. And this is what Lily Dale's all about. There are so many high spiritual vibes going on. You can just, I mean, something's going to hit you when you least expect it there. I'm not going to tell you every little thing because I don't know. I don't want to bore you to death, but so many cool experiences at Lily Dale. Other readings, but like I said, some of those women are coming on and are going to share more about what they do and their experience. And I'm going to share mine more. And like I said, I recorded them for you guys. So you will get excerpts of all this. So stay tuned for all that. I just want to quickly tell you a couple logistics in case you're at the point now listening like, I'm going to Lily Dale. Jen, I'm going to Lily Dale. And maybe even, guys, looking ahead, I don't know, maybe a lot of my listeners and stuff, we could all plan to go at the same time one year. I don't know. And meet each other. I would love to meet some of you guys listening right now, my friends. Okay. So anyway, logistically, it is, like I said, Western New York. If it's drivable for you, it's a beautiful drive. If not, you would fly into Buffalo International, which is right by Niagara Falls. You would rent a car. Do not plan on Ubers. This is not an Uber kind of trip. You might find someone to get you out to Lily Dale, but it'd be iffy getting someone to pick you up. So my recommendation is you're going to want to rent a car. If you're not driving, you're going to want to rent a car. Small airport, super easy to rent a car and get out of there. No drama with this. The drive is about an hour. It's a beautiful drive. This is what I did. I drove from the airport to there. Then when you get there, you're going to roll up to the gate. You're going to pay $15 a day. I was saying for 3, so I paid $40 for 3 days. And what's included in that is everything going on at Lily Dale that's free of charge, like going to the stump, the sacred grounds, all of these things. At the most, some of the extra things, I believe I paid $10 to be in the drum circle class. I paid $10 to be a part of the healing circle thing. But this isn't big money is what I'm saying. Okay, so sometimes you will add on little things when you get there, but logistically, not going to be super expensive. Don't need to bring a bunch of cash. They accept credit card at that little coffee shop. They have the Lily Cafe that's open, I think, till 6 o'clock at night every night. And they have all kinds of really good food. And I'm talking about order at the window, sit at your table. They bring it. You're sitting at like a picnic table. All right. This is not, you don't go to Lily Dale for the food. Is what I'm saying. Okay. If you're a foodie, you're not getting any fancy restaurant food, but that's not why you're there. They do have really, really good. I thought the food was really good. And they've got everything from vegan, vegetarian, meat, whatever you're eating, they'll have it there for you. Don't worry. It's dry. I'll tell you that if you were wondering. It's a dry community. There's no alcohol allowed. No alcohol, no recreational drugs really allowed. Okay. So, but you don't go for the food. I'm just going to put that out there. You don't go for the food. A meal might cost you, like when you're ordering your stuff, $17, like everywhere right now, like drive-through food. So you've got that for food. You've got the cafe for food. There's also a little walk-in place that's open really late where you just kind of can grab stuff out of the fridges yourself, snacks, little ready-made sandwiches, whatever, scan them, pay with a card on your own, dependent self-checkout way, kind of thing. Okay, so that's the food situation. Don't plan on door dashing and stuff. Yes, you can look up right now and it looks like there's places you'll be able to door dash. And they're kind of far away. It's iffy if it's going to get to you. You don't need to worry about that, right? Just engulf yourself in Lily Dale and eat at the little cafes there. It's part of the fun of it anyway. So then where are you going to stay? I got to tell you about this one place now that I think about it. Okay, so there's no major hotels. You're not finding a Hilton or a Sheraton. That's not what's going on in Lily Dale. They are lots of smaller bed and breakfasts. A lot of them have either a room with shared bathrooms, or you can have your own room with your private bathroom, however you want to book it. Obviously, price changes depending on that. But they also usually have like fridges where you can keep some of your own food if you want to bring anything yourself, snacks or anything. And then there is one hotel you can stay in. One. It's called the Maplewood Hotel. And let me tell you a little bit about the hotel. We did not stay there, and let me tell you why. The Maplewood Hotel is a centerpiece of Lily Dale's history and charm. It's believed to be one of the most haunted locations in the community or anywhere. It's known for paranormal activity. So if you're into this, if you're into staying somewhere where there's definitely paranormal activity going on, then you want to stay at the hotel. I myself want to be real chill at night when I'm sleeping, very protected. I'll go visit. I'll check it out. I'm not scared of it, but it doesn't feel like a place I want to wind down at night and sleep in. but some people love it. It's packed. It's full. People are staying there. Guests claim to have seen shadowy figures in the hallways. And again, they're calm and non-threatening. No one's ever been hurt or anything like that. People will hear footsteps, doors opening and closing, faint whispers, cold spots and energy shifts. And sometimes the furniture moves around. Okay, so if you're into that, that's at Lilydale too. I went into the hotel. I went into the first floor. You can feel it. There's something going on in that building, 100%. I went up. There's 3 floors. I was going up to the different floors. And the higher you got, I felt weird. I could feel it. My heart started just pumping. And not because I'm so out of shape from going up the stairs, okay? Because at first I thought that, I'm like, oh God, how out of shape are you, Jen? No, that wasn't it. I could feel my heart beating and things just felt super weird. Okay, so the vibe is definitely there. So if you're into that, you're going to want to stay at the Maplewood Hotel, or at least just visit it. And one other thing I'm going to throw out there about this hotel, you've got to go in. The hotel and then another little like old schoolhouse has these ectoplasm paintings. And this is a whole rabbit hole you guys can go down in. And I'm going to do a whole different episode on these so we won't get too deep into this. These ectoplasm paintings were made in the late 1800s, I believe. And it's where people came together, where these mediums would come together and they would channel to make these paintings. And it was dim lit. It was seance like. Is what it was. And they would have people watching to witness it as like to document what happened. And there is documentation of this, but they're hanging on these walls and they would just throw some paint down and have some stuff and they would channel and they didn't even know what they were all painting. They would take turns. Okay. And these paintings look like realistic photographs and they have been analyzed by scholars all over the world. Scientific scholars cannot figure out what kind of paint was used and how the hell these paintings were made. You cannot find a brush stroke on them, no brush strokes. And this is before anybody could print anything out. There was no printing. There honestly weren't photorealistic photographs like this even available. Like you think, oh, I got switched out with a photo. No, they can't figure out where the paint came from. They have analyzed the actual paint used. They can't figure it out. The closest thing that they told us they could find that this paint was identical to, chemistry-wise, was the pigment on a butterfly's wings. Not even kidding. That's the closest pigment they can find to what these paintings were made out of. These paintings were channeled, and they are believed to be a connection between the other side and here, right? Our spiritual team on the other side helped channel these paintings, and they're amazing. And I won't go any further into it because I think we are going to have someone on to talk about these, but definitely you guys want to stop in and see these when you're there. I mean, I was right up against them. I couldn't find a brush stroke. I could not figure out how these paintings were freaking made. Okay. And these artists that were channeling this did not have the ability to paint these on their own. This was purely like a seance channeled thing. And this was in the 1800s. Okay. Anyway, the wings of a butterfly. That's the closest pigment we can find on this earth. Oh God. Anyway, see what I mean? So many interesting things at Lilydale. I mean, think if there's any other logistics. Again, you don't need to bring a bunch of cash. They do accept credit cards. Some of the the class I took was $100. I just want to try to give you ideas of what kind of budget you're looking at if you're going to do this. The bed and breakfast and hotels and stuff that you can stay in, very economical. I'm trying to think if there's anything else logistically. I don't know. Like I said, I would love at some point to have a halfway to dead little meetup at Lilydale. Wouldn't that be fun, you guys? So if that's something you might be interested in, send me a message on, I don't know, email me through the website, DM me through my socials, whatever. Let me know. And I'm going to start putting together a list because if there is a group, and this doesn't have to be some big planned retreat even, you guys, we can just all plan to be there at the same time. And then if we want to meet up and have a couple different, of our own healing circles or just some porch chills together, we can, or we cannot, or you cannot, whatever. So let me know if you're interested in that. I told you about some of my experiences. We have more coming in episodes. We have some amazing women coming on. But what I realized, here was one of my biggest takeaways from Lilydale. We're midlifers. I'm always saying I wish these younger kids would listen to us. If they got on this before midlife, they'd be in a much better spot. And what hit me, because a lot of the women I got readings with and a lot of women that impacted me were past midlife, were 65 plus, maybe 70 plus. I don't know how old they each were, but there were all these women who were older and wiser than me. And it hit me, Jen, you need to take your own advice. You need to learn from these older women who've already been through these phases that you're in now. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do a whole series for you guys where it's just I mean, I know there's already a podcast called Older and Wiser, but I'm thinking the same vibe where it's women who've already been through all this shit and have advice for us. And I don't just mean spiritually, I mean in life. So I'm putting together a crew, a little series of women who are 65 plus, 70 plus. I don't care how old they are, older and wiser than we are. I want to just start getting their experience and their advice, because I need to take my own advice and look to the next generation to give me insights while they're still here to do that for me and for you. So get excited. We're going to have that series coming. Overall, I just want to say the vibe in Lilydale is palpable. You can feel it. It was amazing. And I feel like you'll get something out of it, whether you're in the beginning of a spiritual journey, whether you're experienced and maybe you're a healer or a psychic medium yourself, or you're a practitioner. You need to go to Lilydale for you, right? Sometimes I think you forget about you and taking care of your spiritual needs when you're taking care of other spiritual needs. So I think this is good for everyone. I met a lot of people there who come once a year right around either their birthday to get some insight into the next year, or they come around the anniversary of the death of a loved one because they want to go to a place where they can truly connect and have others helping them connect and get messages. Just some ideas, you guys, but I think you're going to really love Lilydale. Let me know. If you have any questions about Lilydale, reach out to me too. Again, not an expert, but I can give you my 2 cents on whatever you're thinking. So I just wanted to get on here and share about Lilydale with you guys and encourage you, not just for Lilydale, but find little adventures like this that you can go on for your own spiritual journey. And again, they don't have to be huge trips. You don't have to go halfway around the world. You can just find these little places like Lilydale and spend a couple of days there. I haven't even told you all the things that happened to me. And I was only there again Wednesday night to Saturday at lunch. That's it. So was my whole group. My whole group was only there that amount of time, some even a little less than that. And everybody got so much out of it. So look into it. I have in the show notes links to the Lilydale website. I have some links to some of the people I got readings with, because you don't have to wait for Lilydale. A lot of these people also do things via Zoom. So I just wanted to jump in with this episode this week before I forgot all of the important things and let you know about Lilydale. Their season is shutting down soon, but I definitely think you should look into it for their next season. Okay, guys, thanks. See you next time. Listen, I know your time is valuable, and right now I'm feeling super grateful and totally humbled that you chose to hang out with me today. If this podcast resonates with you, could you do me a solid and hit that subscribe or follow button? That's going to help you out because you're never going to miss an episode. And it helps me out because you're never going to miss an episode. And if you have like 30 seconds more, could you leave a 5-star rating and maybe leave a kick-ass review? Thank you so much, and I can't wait to continue our journey on the next episode. Oh, and I can't forget the fine print. You know, the legal jargon. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We're just 2 friends on this journey together, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional. You get it. See you next time.